Minnesota makes their first visit of the season to beautiful Denver, Colorado for a matchup against the division rival Avalanche. The Wild, in the last stop of a three-city trip, trying to come home with a winning record. They went 3-5 against the Avs a year ago. Only Vegas posted a better mark against Colorado. Inside Ball Arena with Ryan Carter, I'm Anthony LaPanta. Minnesota started the trip with an impressive win in Vancouver. Dean Evason called it their most complete effort of the season. Then they were beaten in Seattle in what he called one of their loosest efforts of the year.
Yeah, and you look at the season and how it's gone for them, off to a really strong start, but now they're battling through some adversity. They've got guys out with COVID. They've got guys out with injury now. There hasn't been the pressure on the Stars, but as they get through this, they battle through this adversity right now, they're going to need to lean on those guys. They've struggled as of late, but tonight they're going to need to break through.
There are still some key pieces out for Minnesota. Matt Zuccarello, Rem Pitlick, both in COVID-19 protocol. Jordan Greenway, a lower body injury. Alex Goligoski, an upper body injury. We've seen the Wild have to make do without these four already on the trip, but tonight it's an NHL debut for Adam Beckman.
Well, and he earned this one in training camp, Anthony. He was really good. He could play in the power play. He's obviously got a flair for the offensive side of the ice. He can score some goals. Again, the physical play, not what he's known for, but showing everybody that he'll do what it takes to be there. He's also a guy that does this, puts the puck in the back of the net, and he plays with energy. The Wild right now, I think, could use a little bit of energy in the room. Great addition for him. Good luck to him on his first NHL game. Back end, you got Kalen Addison. We know what he can bring. He's got some NHL experience, played in the playoffs last year. I thought he was good. Sound, didn't look out of place, but he can help the Wild offense in two ways. One, he's a puck mover. He can get the puck up the ice in a hurry in the hands of the forwards. And two, well, he's mobile, and he can walk the blue line and bring it to the net. So we'll see him tonight, hopefully cash in offensively for sure.
And he'll be trying to help the Wild slow down what has been one of the league's highest scoring teams in recent years. But Kevin Gorg, it hasn't been quite the same for the Avalanche out of the starting gates this year.
No, it has not. And this is one of the Cup favorites in Colorado, just 3-4 so far. And if you look at some of the key categories, they've been sliding downhill. There's no doubt about it. Last year, they were the highest scoring team in the National Hockey League, over 3.5 goals per game. This year, down just over 2.5, way down in 20th. Big part of that's the power play. They really struggled with the extra man. And then the net. Darcy Kemper takes it over. His save percentage near the bottom at just over 88. Terrible numbers against the Wild, too. They're still the Avalanche. They still have speed and skill. So we asked Dean Evason his game plan for slowing them down.
We can't turn pucks over and allow that transition, and we can't get beat back to our own zone. Obviously, they've got special forwards, but you know, their defense drives their offense, and like a lot of teams in the league. So we've got to be very aware of that and get back and you know, not allow them that odd man situations.
The new look Minnesota Wild with some of the adversity they're facing. It's always fun when these teams get together, and it's on the eve of Halloween in Colorado. The Avalanche and the Wild, and Puck Drop is headed your way next.
Better? Is it fabric softener or softener? Softener?
Need a little excitement? Just say I'm in with scratch games from the Minnesota Lottery.
Roll into fall in style at your local Northland Ford dealers. Now is still a great time to buy a Ford. Choose from our F-Series, America's best-selling trucks.
Missing some key cogs on offense. The Wild are now hoping some call-ups will do the trick and help provide some hockey treats against the Avs. Colorado can be a nightmare for visiting teams, but tonight the Wild look to put a scare into the Avalanche and stay on top in the Central. It's Halloween Eve in Denver. Kirill Kaprizov had 7 points against the Avs last year. Still looking for his first goal of the season. And tonight, Adam Beckman will make his NHL debut for Minnesota, adding his name to the list of recent call-ups for the Wild. Our Northland Ford starting goaltenders.
Cam Talbot getting his 7th of 8th start here tonight first loss last game against the Kraken, but hey, I thought actually he played one of his best games of the season. On the other side, Darcy Kemper traded to Colorado via Arizona. He's come in. He's played okay, not great. Bednar thinks he can do more. Hasn't been great against the Wild, just 2.51 with an 8.91. So the Wild can get after their old goaltender.
Last couple outings against Minnesota have been particularly troubling for their former teammate. We're underway from Ball Arena in Denver. First meeting of the season between these clubs, who met 8 times last year, with the Avs winning 5 of the 8. They won 3 of 4 here in Denver, and the team split the 4 in St. Paul. Jonas Brodin over to pick it up for Minnesota. Goes cross ice with it. Eriksson Ek tried to relay it in. Foligno, the winger on this line, along with Kaprizov and Eriksson Ek tonight. Landeskog across to Burakovsky. Burakovsky crisscrosses through the middle. Kulikov went down, and it's flipped out to center ice. And we'll get an icing call against the Wild about halfway through a change. And a face-off back down to the Minnesota zone.
Well, these are the situations I think Dean Evason had to balance out his lineup. You're going to have icing situations against a talented, skilled Avalanche club. He's got all the confidence in the world and his centerman to win these draws. So you've got Ek playing with Foligno, 2 checkers with Kaprizov, and then Fiala makes his way out here. He's with Hartman and Gaudreau, 2 other guys they trust fully.
Play in behind the Minnesota goal. Comes loose to the corner. A pass intended for Girard. Intercepted by Hartman, who floats it down into Colorado territory. Hartman, Gaudreau, and Fiala. The line combo for Minnesota here. Pass behind Gaudreau, and we'll get another icing call against Minnesota. One of the things to watch tonight, always one of the things to watch when the Wild face the Avs, is Nathan MacKinnon. And our Toyota Key stat shows you in 22 games in each building, the numbers significantly different when the teams have met here in Colorado. 34 points in those 22 games.
Well, I think you look at it too, the Avalanche so good at home, specifically last year too, 22-4-1. They play better in this building. And he puts up numbers like that. Really no surprise about how they find a way to win these games.
Gaudreau delivers a hit at center ice. Puck comes loose into the corner. Kulikov back after it for Minnesota. Jost on the forecheck for Colorado. Spurgeon able to thread one through for Gaudreau. Spurgeon and Kulikov paired on the blue line. Kulikov back in the lineup after he missed the game Thursday against the Kraken. Addison, his first shift of the season. Played 3 games for the Wild during the regular year last year. Jack Johnson sends it ahead. This year, Addison was off to a good start. A couple of assists in 4 games in Iowa. Merrill sets up back of the net. Takes a long look. Wanted the long stretch pass through neutral ice. Addison tries it. It's deflected down, so there's no icing. Bukestad in on the forecheck for the Wild. Sturm supporting the play. Duhaime sends it in behind. Bukestad works out of the corner for Duhaime, and he just couldn't get the shot away fast enough. Erik Johnson with it there for Colorado. Helm did not reach center ice, and they wave off icing.
That's where Cam Talbot knew. He went back. That negates the icing, but another strong shift from Bukestad. When he's played with those guys, he's been really noticeable, really strong. I thought the one game he got a chance playing alongside the skill guys, he maybe didn't have as strong a game, but good first shift.
Landeskog tried to go cross ice. Beckman, who has the game's first shot on goal on his first shift in the NHL. That's not a surprise. And we'll get another icing call here against Minnesota. And the Wild will be forced to leave this 4th line on the ice. It's a new look 4th line with Connor Dewar, who made his NHL debut Thursday night. Beckman, who's making his NHL debut tonight. And Kyle Rau, who's making his season debut.
Yeah, there's a lot of debuts. You mentioned the 4 first NHL games already in this young season for the Wild. They've been very active, giving some of these young guys opportunity. Beckman, good to see him get on the board. Sometimes you play in your first NHL game, you set small goals, and for him, getting that first shot probably was one of them.
Rau bothering MacKinnon, who sends it back into his own zone. His one-touch pass doesn't connect with Landeskog. Burakovsky trying to hold the zone. Kaprizov ducks around Byram. He has Foligno driving the net. Kaprizov on his backhand flings one wide. Rebound held by Brodin. Foligno walks off the end boards with it. Flips it to the line for Dumba, but it hops over his stick and out to center ice.
Well, it's good to see Kaprizov winning those wall battles early on. I think at times Dean Evison has mentioned, Kaprizov shoots that one, that he's looking for easy offense. He's got to get back to winning battles, being on the defensive side of the puck and playing an honest game.
Kaprizov was a handful for Colorado last year. I mentioned he had 7 points against them in the 8 games, 3 goals and 4 assists. So we've talked a lot about the Wild having to shuffle the deck up front. The defensive pairings, Brodin and Dumba have been together throughout the year. Spurgeon now playing with Kulikov, and Addison slides in. First game this season, he's paired with John Merrill.
Well, for the first time this season, the Wild are going to have all lefties on the left side, righties on the right side, so Addison does provide that. With all hands on deck, it was John Merrill and Kulikov, 2 lefties there, so we'll see how Kulikov does in an expanded role here tonight.
Loose puck in the corner, picked up by Kadri, plays it out to center ice. Gaudreau tried to get it back to Spurgeon. That's broken up, and Kadri brings it in offside. And we've got a little bit of a disjointed start here with a lot of whistles in the first 4.5 minutes.
Well, it's certainly been broken up, but I think if you're the Wild, can't be upset about that. This is an Avalanche team that can skate, skilled, get through the neutral ice fast. You slow them down early, don't let them catch their rhythm.
Avs win the draw. Johnson dumps it in. Loose puck winds up back of the net. Sampo Ranta on it there. Plays to the line, and the long shot gloved and held by Talbot. And that is Colorado's first shot on goal of the game. Erik Johnson, the veteran defenseman, limited to 4 games last year. He's played in all 7 so far this season for Colorado. Leads the club with 15 hits. When he's on his game, he's a physical presence.
Well, he is, and you mentioned only 4 games last year. The physical presence, well, he ran into the big rig. I think that it was a collision between the 2 of them, and costing him the rest of his season. But there's no doubt he's one of those guys that can play both the skill side. He's got the skill set, but he's physically gifted. He's a big guy that can throw his weight around.
Bukestad trying to connect with Sturm at center. Gerard starts it back the other way. Martin Kaut tied up at the Minnesota line. Comfer supports and plays it in. Good start to the season for Comfer. 6 points in 7 games. Duhaime off the wall down into Colorado ice, but Kaut back defensively, sends it across, and Johnson rifles it right back in. Duhaime comes to center. His pass just too far for Dewar. Dewar able to disrupt the Avs on their breakout. Now this time they do connect. Byram to the Minnesota line. Drops it back to McKinnon. McKinnon walks by Merrill for a chance, and a save by Talbot.
Well, Talbot's first big save of the day. John Merrill, that's not a comfortable feeling. You've got Nathan McKinnon coming down you full speed. I think McKinnon maybe loses that puck a little bit, but nonetheless it gets through John Merrill. Talbot with a big one.
Best scoring chance of the night for either team. And it comes for maybe the most dangerous scorer on the ice. Eriksson Ek brings it in for Minnesota. Eriksson Ek on his backhand, fires one, a blocker save by Kemper. Merrill with a rebound chance, and Kemper knocks that one aside. Foligno back to Merrill. A deflected shot winds up in the corner. Heavy hit there by Eriksson Ek. Foligno in on the forecheck. Kaprizov sends it back to Addison. Foligno one touch to Eriksson Ek. Off the wall to the trailing Kaprizov. He spins out of the corner with it. Kaprizov knocked to the ice by Kadri, and Kadri leads an odd man rush for Colorado. Avs in, and a good stick defensively breaks that one up. Out of the line, Jack Johnson sent it across. A long shot by Murray went well wide. Murray scrambles to hold the zone, able to keep it in past Eriksson Ek. Kulikov sends it out to center ice. And the Avs will be whistled for a hand pass here, and we've got some fisticuffs as Foligno exchanging jabs there. Logan O'Connor took exception to Foligno's play at the line. Here's the big stop by Talbot on Nathan McKinnon that keeps us even 0-0.
According to his head coach, Dean Evison, playing a much simpler, smarter game, spending far less time in the defensive zone, getting the pucks out smoothly. That leads to this. One of the top in the league when it comes to shots on goal by defensemen at almost 3.5. When I talked to Matt Dumba, he said he's got such a comfort level with his good friend Jonas Brodin. He said they're really clicking together right now. Loves the fact that they're reading each other and learning game by game, and he loves the fact they're going to get a bunch of ice time tonight. He says they know they're going to play a huge role in this game, and they look forward to the challenge.
Yeah, Dumba's 24 shots on goal are tied for the team lead with winger Kevin Fiala. When we asked Dean Evison about his game, and he said most of the time he's been better this year because it's been simpler.
Yeah, and I think you look at it just specifically in the offensive zone, and that's why it's leading to more shots on goal. He's not trying the big fake slapper, the spinorama, and trying to beat guys one-on-one. It's, hey, if I've got some open ice, I'm going to bring it to the net. He's also been really good at hitting the net. At times, I think the shot can go awry on him and miss the net. He's been finding his target, really, as they mentioned, simplifying the game, and, boy, he's looked sharp, Anthony.
Hartman wins the draw for Minnesota. Spurgeon drives it in. Makar got it ahead to McKinnon and across to Landeskog. Now Burakovsky to the Minnesota line. Landeskog tried to drop it back to McKinnon. It's intercepted by Fiala. McKinnon then picks his pocket.
Well, that's why you like to have a scoring line out there against that McKinnon line. They have a tendency to try to force plays through people, and if you're in good defensive structure, you can get yourself some odd man rushes going the other way.
Kulikov spins away from Burakovsky. Gaudreau tried to slide one ahead for Duhaime. He was in check. Gaudreau gets it back. Out to the line for Brodin. He's ridden hard into the sidewall by Magna. Here comes Samuel Girard. Girard swings wide against Gaudreau. Out to the line, looking for Eric Johnson, but it gets by him and all the way down. Minnesota will change as the Avs regroup.
Well, Wildcats a break there. Girard noticing that that's Gaudreau forward on the back end, tries to attack him. I thought he had a step on him. Wild could have been scrambling their own zone, but Avs end up breaking themselves out.
Brodin ahead to Duhaime. His pass off the skate of Sturm, and Sturm is shaken up a bit. He limps back toward the Minnesota bench. Dumba with it. Deflected in by Beckman, but it's out of play. And we'll get another whistle with 11:22 left in a 0-0 first period.
Boy, it's early in the season, Anthony, but it does seem like the pucks, and it's unfortunate for the Wild, are finding spots on these guys where they're unprotected. That's a pass that hits him in the bad spot of the skate. We saw Jared Spurgeon have to leave for a while a couple games ago with one on the knee. It's funny how much padding you wear, but how often it finds a place that hurts.
Well, and it just seems to happen in bunches, the way the Wild have been beaten up here in the last couple of games. Jost with a shot. Long bouncing puck will result in another icing whistle against Minnesota.
You gotta like to see that. This is obviously a line that maybe has played together in Iowa, but intense morning skate this morning. Worked on D-zone coverage. You don't see that a lot in the morning skate. Usually meant for flow, just to get touches of the puck. Press in the Avs D. Guys that like to be mobile, want the puck up there, up top in their own offensive zone. This line almost ends up getting a 2-on-1 off a block shot.
Wild have already been whistled for icing 4 times in the first 9 minutes. Offensive zone draw for Colorado against the Dewar, Beckman, and Rao line for Minnesota. Forced out to center. Byram turns it back the other way, and Ranta floats it in. Ranta joined the Avs last year after his junior season completed at the University of Minnesota. Led the Gophers in goals and points last season. Played a couple of games with Colorado in the playoffs. And they've been in all 7 so far this year. Foligno hands it off in close quarters there. Ekman gets another shot on goal. Kemper makes the save, and the rebound just does escape the zone. Spurgeon sends it back in, but the Wild have to tag up.
That's what you've got to do to Cale Makar. Marcus Foligno on the train tracks, getting ready to be physical. Makar just bails out, turns the puck over, and the Wild get a good look.
Spurgeon to Kaprizov, who carries in. Kaprizov into the middle for Foligno. Kaprizov had it back. Tried to wheel and fire, and that was stripped away. Spurgeon sent it toward the net. It was blocked out front, and Byram carries back. Bowen Byram to the Minnesota line. Byram drops to the trailing Jost, and a glove save by Talbot. We remain even, 0-0 in Denver. Ryan Hartman continues to thrive in an increased role for Minnesota this season. We've seen him in spots that he hasn't spent much time over the course of his career.
No, he's getting a look in some new spots. You've got Eriksson Ek, who used the placeholder on that third line between Foligno and Greenway. You know, could Hartman fill that up and be as good? Question is, yeah, he can. He's been great off the start. I mean, he's tied for the team lead in goals with 3. Same with plus minus at 3, plus 3. He's just been very noticeable, very sound on the kill, playing both special teams, so he's been fantastic for them early on.
Landeskog kicked off the faceoff dot, replaced by McKinnon. Gaudreau able to win it cleanly. Back to Brodin. Faceoffs have always been one of the weak spots in McKinnon's game. He's just 42% so far this year. So one of the most dominant scorers in the National Hockey League. In fact, I saw a couple of off-season articles written where they were asking sometimes NHL GMs, but sometimes just personnel around the league, if you were starting a franchise, who would you want as your #1 player? And there were more than a few who selected Nathan McKinnon. Brodin tried to center. Avs come back. Here is McKinnon into the Minnesota zone, knocked off of his stick before he could get a shot away. Fiala safely back to Dumba. Dumba connects with Gaudreau at the Colorado line. He jumps around Johnson. Gaudreau in, and Fiala fanned on it. Fiala to Hartman. Hartman moves in, saved by Kemper. Rebound loose. Gaudreau back to Merrill. A shot, and that goes over the top of the goal. Fiala back to Addison. Addison winds, fires just wide. Long rebound, Gaudreau. Kicked out by Kemper. Fiala denied on the rebound. Hartman a shot, kicked away by Kemper. Merrill a drive, and that goes wide. Wild all over him here on this shift. Hartman tried to feed the line. Intercepted, but now taken back by Sturm at center. Merrill just too far for Sturm. What a sequence of chances for Minnesota. Sturm trying to center. Duhaime tracks it down on the wall. Addison goes cross ice with it. And Sturm's pass comes out to neutral ice. Bukestad quickly on the counterattack for Minnesota. Hit by Megna as he dumps it in. Those two still tangling along the wall as Ranta comes to center. Ranta sent it across. Murray moves in, saved by Talbot. Addison just floats it out to center to relieve the pressure. Jack Johnson played it ahead to Murray. Ryan Murray slides it down into Minnesota territory. First year with the Avs for Murray. Signed as a free agent this offseason. Kadri back to the line. Murray. Long shot deflects into the netting and out of play. Boy, Minnesota a firing range at Darcy Kemper, and he just kept kicking him out.
They were throwing everything at him. Great play. Good little step aside here by Gaudreau. Heads up play looking for Fiala on the back door. Fiala ends up whiffing on that one. I think Magna caught a small piece of it. But then they just continue to throw rubber on Kemper. He does a good job taking the lower half of the net. Wild can't get the puck up and on the net to beat him as he's down and out, as you saw there. And then continuing the goalie action, Cam Talbot there has to make a save on Murray. Boy, it's opened up here, Anthony.
Shot sails over the top of the goal. Byram holds. Plays it in behind. Brodin got a piece of it. Landeskog threw it in toward the net. Landeskog with it again. He escapes Dumba from in behind. Tried to force one to McKinnon, and it deflects all the way out to center ice. Landeskog sends it back into his own zone. Byram's pass connects with McKinnon. Across to Burakovsky. Back to Landeskog. He scores. A terrific three-way passing play for Colorado's top line. It's 1-0 Avalanche.
Avalanche able to catch the Wild fourth line out there. They go tic-tac-toe. McKinnon patient as he gets this puck right inside the Wild blue line. That Dumba presses up there, and that leaves the forward defending. So Landeskog gets free back there, but Burakovsky, it goes McKinnon, Burakovsky, backdoor Landeskog. No chance for Talbot. Avs jump on that fourth line. Catch a young player in a bad spot. They go up 1-0.
Well, they caught a young player in the same spot they've caught so many veteran players over the years as well. And there without Rantanen tonight, Burakovsky fits in nicely, but that top line from Colorado can make plays. Dumba's shot. Into the corner, Brodin to Kaprizov. Foligno across to Dumba. Dumba lost control of it. Tyson Jost has it. Off the boards, down into Minnesota territory where Talbot knocks it aside. Dumba ahead to Foligno. He goes across to Eriksson Ek. Eriksson Ek trying to work against Murray. Now Kaprizov in for Eriksson Ek back of the net. Holds off a Murray check. And the loose puck finally controlled by Colorado. They have numbers coming out through neutral ice. Jack Johnson with it. Avs need a change. Merrill back to claim it for Minnesota. O'Connor face first up against the glass. Able to get it to Kadri. Back down low for Ranta. Sample Ranta into the middle. Kadri tied up just enough by Kaprizov. Avs maintain the zone. Makar sent it across. Sliding save by Talbot. O'Connor with it. Plays it in behind. Comes free to Kadri, and his shot was blocked by Gaudreau. Byram plays to the far wall. Kadri across to Makar. Into the middle. Ranta threw it to an open point as Kadri had headed off on a change. Now Megna's back in for Colorado. He tangles there with Addison. Merrill pinned against the boards by McDonald. Merrill goes down. Hartman goes one touch behind Fiala. That allows Johnson to hold the zone. Into the middle. Hell of a shot, and that went off the post. Fiala with it for Minnesota. His pass too far for Hartman and dumped right back in.
Well, you can't give the Avs a second chance here. Wild miss on one pass on the breakout. They end up hitting the post.
Jack Johnson with a long shot. Talbot makes the save. The last 7 shots in this game have come by the Avs, and they lead 1-0. Shots on goal in this game.
Okay, Makar so good on the blue line. Holds the puck till something opens up. He sees a hole, jumps right through it, draws the guy to him. That leaves O'Connor wide open. And then this after the failed breakout pass, turnover in the offensive zone. Crossbar. That close to a 2-0 lead.
Talbot was busy on Thursday night in Seattle. Faced 36 shots, stopped 34 of them. Kraken added a couple of empty net goals to make the final margin 4-1. Here's Nico Sturm. Byram catches up calmly and knocks it away. Duhaime supports, fires, save Kemper. Rebound picked up by McKinnon. McKinnon flips it, recovers it himself, goes to Landeskog. Landeskog's shot got through. Talbot may have gotten a pad on it. It winds up in the corner. McKinnon working against Kulikov. Penalty coming against Kulikov. Landeskog deflects, and we get the whistle, and the holding call against Kulikov will put Colorado on the power play.
Well, McKinnon's not only fast, he's quick, and when he starts to turn and jump on you down there.
Number 29, 2 minutes for holding.
Battle of the 29s there, but as he starts to jump around and move side to side laterally, sometimes you got no choice but to reach. Kulikov gets the stick, caught in the wrong spot, turn around, that's a hold right there. Doing everything he can to defend, but again, McKinnon so strong on the attack, dangerous in many ways. Draws the penalty, now they got the power.
Fast and quick, both, and he's a horse.
Yeah, strong as
Comfort lost it to Dumba. Foligno throws it to the boards, but not out. Comfort holds. Avalanche on the game's first power play. McKinnon into the middle. Makar a long shot. That goes off the end boards. Lively Karam nearly came back out in front of the Minnesota goal. Brodin battling for it there. Sends it out, but not out of the zone. Makar moves in. His shot hit a skate. McKinnon pressured up near the line by Eriksson Ek. Strong play by Eriksson Ek to force that puck out to neutral. McKinnon's right back in, and a shot kicked away by Talbot.
Another example of McKinnon's strength. Their one-on-one battle. How often do you see Eriksson Ek lose those and end up on the ice?
Byram works his way down the wall. Landeskog trying to spin away from Brodin. Dumba grabs a loose puck and clears. Halfway through the Colorado power play.
Avs power play has struggled this year. Historically, they've had that top line. Now, they have been without their top line and their top power play for 5 of the 7 games they've played, but they've simplified it. Gone to a shooting power play.
3 for 27 on the season are the Avs. Byram. Kadri back to Byram. He feeds Girard. Cross ice for Kadri, too hot to handle. Now back in the middle, Byram. Down low, Girard tried to center, and the tip by Martin Kaut went over the top of the net. And the Wild able to clear. Minnesota coming off of a night in Seattle where they did not allow a power play goal for the first time in a game this season. Went 4 for 4 against the Kraken on the penalty kill. Kadri with it. Into the corner. Byram leads it back to the net. Kulikov is back on, and the Wild are at full strength.
Well, good play by Kulikov not to touch that puck there. That's a penalty if he doesn't get both skates on the ice. But yeah, solid kill from the Wild. Avalanche power play, I know they're struggling. The statistics aren't there, but they've got some skilled guys up there. They gave nothing up but a couple point shots.
McDonald ridden into the wall by Brodin. Jack Johnson with it. Loose out front, and a sprawling attempt by O'Connor. Winds up deflecting into the corner, and the Wild will be called for icing one more time. Now's a great time to guarantee your seats and be a part of the home ice advantage for this Wild team. Get your full season, half season, or 11 game plans, or choose the games you want with a new flex plan. Check out which option is right for you at tickets.wild.com. Landeskog will draw against Hartman. 80 seconds left in the period. McKinnon into the circle. O'Connor was tied up there. Loose puck comes free to Landeskog. His backhander deflects. Brodin plays it, but McKinnon's there. Landeskog tried to slide one into the corner. Landeskog again. Hounded by Dumba, but maintains the puck. Back to Johnson, a shot. Talbot with a stick save. O'Connor back of the net, McKinnon. McKinnon working his way out. Comes loose, Johnson slides in. His shot broken up and cleared out to center ice by Rao.
Well, big block by Brodin there. Avalanche spends some extended time in the offensive zone, eventually break the Wild down. They get a look on that weak side D. Brodin covering 2 guys, able to block that one.
Kaprizov for Beckman. Wild good at the line, but now Colorado comes up with a loose puck. Jost drops it back for Makar. Kaprizov playing with a couple of youngsters here in the final minute. Dewar and Beckman his line mates for this shift, and this will just bring us to the end of the period. Good start for Minnesota, but the last half of the period dominated by the Avs, and their captain Gabriel Landeskog has the game's only goal.
Well, it took a little while for this game to open up. Eventually, when it did, the Wild had their chances in the offensive zone. Great shift. Through tons of Robert Kemper, couldn't beat him, but the Avs find the answer. They go down tic-tac-toe, they get the lead, and they carry it into the break.
1-0 in favor of Colorado in this big divisional matchup in Denver. Kevin Gord will chat with Nick Bukestad next. Valley Sports North is brought to you by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. By Northland Ford. Visit buyfordnow.com and your local Northland Ford dealer today. And by TSR Injury Law. Put their winning team to work for you. Call 612-TSR-TIME.
Back in Denver, the Avalanche have a 1-0 lead through the first 20 minutes. We're joined by Minnesota forward Nick Bukestad. This is a team in Colorado that loves to play the transition game. They're good through the neutral. How do you counteract that?
Yeah, it's just slowing them down. You know, we talk about it before the game, and you know, they're high-octane offense. They like to skate, so you got to try to take away their time and space as best you can, and then turn it the other way as quick as you can. So we had some good spurts that period. I thought we had some spots where we gave them too much room, so we'll touch up on it in between periods here.
You mentioned the spurts. There was a couple of really good forecheck situations for your team. When you get down there, how do you attack?
It's hold on to pucks, and then when you sustain the pressure, it's getting to the point and going to the net. You know, these guys kind of, I mean, every team in the NHL kind of packs it in tight, blocking shots and whatnot, so you got to win those battles in front of the net, and you know, they aren't fancy most of the time in this league, so you got to find ways to, you know, win those one-on-one battles.
Appreciate your thoughts. Go get them the next two periods.
Yep, thanks, Gorgie.
Former Gopher Nick Bukestad, he and the Wild down 1 after 1 here in Colorado. When we come back, we head back to the studio, get an update from our Wildlife crew.
I wonder if she...
And it's the home team with a 1-0 advantage after 1 tonight so far in Denver. And we welcome you inside Mall of America studio alongside Wes Walls. I'm Audra Martin. Dean Evason's club is out to a good start this season, looking to continue that tonight against the Avalanche with a handful of young guys in the lineup. And Wes, you saw a subtle play in the first period that kind of defies the impact that Dean Evason has on some of these skaters. What was it?
Yeah, you know, since Dean Evason has been the head coach of the Minnesota Wild, he's been able to bring these guys, the young kids, along. You look at what Eriksson his game is, how it has grown. Sturm, Fiala, Kaprizov, even Carson Soucy, who we lost. And, you know, you can do it different ways. You sit down, you talk video, you have conversations, you can instill confidence that way. But a lot of times when you play on the road, you can instill confidence in your young players by not having them race off the ice when the other team's best players are on the ice. That goes further than any, like, video or sitting down talking about. We got a simple situation I want to talk about in the very first period here. Again, this is Nathan MacKinnon's line. That's on the ice. Kalen Addison, young kid, is on the ice with John Merrill. Again, here's Nathan MacKinnon. Nice little play here. Dances Merrill. Okay, that's going to happen. All right. Let's let this roll along here. The puck rotates out to the neutral zone. Nice little play here by Kalen Addison to get the puck out of the zone. Now, most coaches around the NHL, listen, Kalen Addison, John Merrill, get off the ice right now. We got a chance to change. The best players on the world are on the ice right now. Dean Evason says no. Bob Wood says no. Stay on the ice. You guys can play against the best players in the world. We have confidence in you. And I can't tell you how far that goes as a player. I was a young player in this league. And in those situations when the other best players were on the ice, I was the guy that was coming off the ice. Dean Evason has done an amazing job of instilling confidence in all the players up and down this lineup.
A little thing, but it can go a long way
sure it can.
For the Minnesota Wild. Speaking of those young guys, because they are out there against one of the most dangerous teams in the NHL, but so far so good. And how about Cam Talbot playing with a whole lot of confidence this season? We'll take a look at how he is keeping the Avalanche relatively quiet tonight so far.
I think it's time to play. Tuesday, the Wild battle the Senators on Valley Sports North.
Minnesota Wild Hockey on Valley Sports North is brought to you by Toyota. Dear driver, hurry in and save. Toyota. By Connecticut. Better water flows from better thinking. And by Car Shield. Car Shield, cars go farther. Avs lead the Wild 1-0 on Halloween Eve in Denver. Cam Talbot very busy in the first period.
Well, again, he's picking up where he left off. I thought he was the best player on the ice in Seattle. Tonight, again, looks very confident in net. You gotta love about his game is he's always on time. He's there, he's set. This is an Avalanche team that can move the puck, as we saw in their goal, tic-tac-toe as well. But Cam Talbot able to track it all night long. He's off to a great start.
Our Menards game reset. The shot attempts 32-19 in Colorado's favor. They had 11 of the last 12 shots in the period.
Well, they'll have to like the way that they started that period. They're going to want to fix the way they finished it. The Avs last year, #1 in the league in shot differential, so they're trying. That's something they want to do, is throw more pucks on that.
Second period face-off from Ball Arena in Denver next. Landeskog with the only goal of the first period on Halloween Eve in Denver. Kevin Gorg enjoying the action here inside Ball Arena. Wild got off to a good start. Colorado had the better of the play as the period progressed. And Wes Walz talked about it in the pregame show. When you face star players like Landeskog and McKinnon, if you don't force them to play 200 feet, they'll look like they looked the last half of that first period. They had tremendous jump.
Well, yeah, certainly if they get momentum and they're on you, they can get in front of the change. They're going to have some success. You'd like them to play in their own zone.
They start their first shift in the Minnesota zone. Burakovsky plays it off the end boards. Landeskog looking to escape Brodin. Landeskog throws it back in. Dumba got a piece of it. Burakovsky into McKinnon. McKinnon goes back to Landeskog. Landeskog with it again. Tried to go back to McKinnon, taken away by Dumba. Dumba feeds Kaprizov at center. And Kaprizov's pass intended for Foligno doesn't connect. Eriksson Ek supports for Minnesota. Eriksson Ek dumps to the corner. And now Makar. Good stick by Hartman. Really able to poke it across to Eriksson Ek, but now Byram to the Minnesota line. Spurgeon plays it cross ice to an open wing as Minnesota completes a change. Landeskog to Makar. Back to Landeskog. It's been a long shift for the Colorado captain to open the period. Kulikov plays it around. Fiala pressured by Girard. Threw it to the side of the net. Johnson with a long shot, and that one was blocked out front. Fiala to Kulikov. Kulikov has it poked off of his stick. Fiala recovers, tried to go to Gaudreau in the high slot, and it's tipped the other way by O'Connor. O'Connor hits Bukestad in the corner. Addison on it there for Minnesota. He couldn't get it up the boards. Jost walks off the wall with it. Addison making his season debut for Minnesota tonight. The Wild without Alex Goligoski. Out. Works to the outside. Feeds the line. Murray a long shot. That went wide. Gaudreau with it. Flipped ahead. Looking for Bukestad at the Colorado line. Murray back defensively for Colorado. Got it ahead to Kaut. Back pressure from Sturm. Merrill able to knock it away from Jost. And now Jared Spurgeon ahead to Duhaime. Duhaime to Sturm. Back to the trailing Merrill. A shot right on and a save by Kemper. And the first shot of the period goes to Minnesota.
The Wild getting offensive zone face-off here now, but first 2.5 minutes, it's kind of been one and done as they enter the offensive zone, go in there, make a play, find themselves on the back check. You got to execute, you got to hold on to it. Good way to start throwing on the cage, get a whistle, offensive zone draw.
Dewar, Beckman, and Rao. Dewar wins the draw, back to Spurgeon. His shot blocked. Beckman fires right on goal. Dewar had a chance on the rebound. Rao sends it back against the end wall. And it's Girard for Colorado. Icing waved off as it was deflected at center ice. Spurgeon for Merrill. Dewar got it across to Beckman. 3-on-3 at center. Beckman back for Dewar, a shot, and that goes just wide. Spurgeon able to hold. Beckman catches up with it. His pass just out of the reach of Dewar. Foligno with a heavy hit on Johnson. Megna flips it down into Wild territory so Colorado can change. Here's Kaprizov at center. Jumped around Landeskog. Tried to go across to Foligno. Landed right on the stick of Makar. Burakovsky back to McKinnon. That shot was blocked by Brodin. Scrum along the wall results in a loose puck picked up by Foligno. Foligno's pass too far for Kaprizov, and Makar goes back. Foligno got a piece of it. Makar escapes Kaprizov. The smooth skating D-man sends it through neutral ice. Tipped in by Landeskog. Recovered by Spurgeon for Minnesota. Gaudreau. Pass was in the skates of Hartman. Gaudreau with a takeaway. The Wild have numbers coming in. Gaudreau for Fiala. Could not redirect. Loose on the side of the net. Hartman has it. Back of the net. Out to the line. Kulikov. Across Spurgeon. Into the middle. Gaudreau. His long wrist shot deflected. Loose puck, and Spurgeon shoveled it just wide. Brilliant chance for the Minnesota captain, but he missed the net.
Well, great stick from Gaudreau. Good offensive shift for the Wild here. Good spot defensively. Picks a pass off in the neutral zone. They get a 3-on-2 rush. Play kind of breaks up, but still they battle out front. Eventually it comes down to Jared Spurgeon cutting through the middle of the ice. Does a good job getting free in the interior. Unfortunately on his backhand. A little bit of spin on it. Gets a love tap. Was a good chance. He had an open cage.
Wild come on the attack. Bukestad has his backhander kicked away by Kemper. Addison back to the line. Now it's Addison once more. Sturm to Merrill. Into the middle, Duhaime. He plays it off the glass, but it catches netting. And we'll get a face-off just over 5 minutes into the second period. Only goal came back in the first for Colorado.
This morning, Bednar said, too, that the Wild are a good club because they're a possession hockey team. They hold it in the offensive zone, and that's true when they're playing good. A couple of chances, the Wild finding some momentum now. They're not forcing plays in the offensive zone. The D are active. You saw Jared Spurgeon jump through the interior there. Kalen Addison moving around, creating some confusion. If they're patient and hold on to it in the offensive zone, they get good looks.
Go right back to the Dewar-Beckman-Rao line after they had a good shift last time out. Brodin fires toward the net. Kemper got a shoulder on it. Rao has Jack Johnson tied up. Beckman to the line. Dumba with a shot. Kemper with a save. And the long rebound controlled by Colorado. Megna goes cross ice with it. Dumba steps up there for Minnesota. Hit by Megna as he dumps it in. Murray back for Jack Johnson. Eriksson Ek unable to control it cleanly. And Talbot has to make a kick save on Helm. Burakovsky walks off the wall, hit by Dumba, knocked to the ice. And that separated Burakovsky from the puck.
A good solid body there by Matt Dumba. Fourth line going off the ice for the Avalanche. They've been equally as good for the Avalanche as the Wild.
Burakovsky's shot deflected wide after McKinnon came up with a loose puck in the Minnesota zone. Foligno now with it. Out to center ice, wanted Kaprizov, but Byram's back defensively. Now Foligno jumps on the loose puck for Minnesota. Foligno holding off Landeskog, gives to Kaprizov. Back to the line, it's Spurgeon. Kulikov, Spurgeon. The captain moves in, and the backhander is held by Kemper. Good start to the second for Minnesota, but they still trail 1-0.
Played 3 years for the Golden Gophers. Saw his numbers go up every year. 6 goals, then 12, then 19. His head coach, Jared Bednar, talked this morning about how much the Avalanche love his speed and skill. He said what makes him unique is how he can create chances with his strength. He said he's so good on the wall. When I talked to Bob Motzko a couple weeks ago, he echoed those same thoughts, said sometimes when you coach these kids in college, you just know they're ready. This guy was a beast, and we knew he was ready to take that next step. He's on the second line right now, one of the better teams in the league, guys.
Still looking for his first NHL point. I recall Bob Motzko saying the same thing when he played there, that he said he's got speed. What he doesn't realize is that his scoring chances come from his strength in front of the net.
No, it's a tough lesson sometimes to learn. You want the pretty ones, but it's the ugly ones that count just the same.
19 of them in 31 games for Minnesota last year. Johnson plays to the Minnesota line, knocked down by Spurgeon, who carries in. Sent it across for Gaudreau. Tried to go back to Spurgeon. It hit his skate and deflects right to Jost. Pretty big swing here since the end of the first period. Mentioned at the break, the Avs had 11 of the last 12 shots in the first period. The Wild was 6 of the first 7 here in the second. Gaudreau with a turnover just inside the Colorado line. O'Connor has it knocked away by Merrill. Now some Kadri there, out to the line, Johnson. Gaudreau tried to flip it ahead. Merrill defending Murray along the wall, and Fiala floats it down into Colorado territory. Minnesota changes as Bukestad able to knock the stick out of Jack Johnson's hands. Duhaime got it across to Bukestad. Bukestad to Addison, moving in, and a glove save by Kemper.
We talked about in the open, Anthony. Kalen Addison, he's one of those guys that can help you offensively in 2 ways. One, he can dish it. He can move it in the defensive zone, get it up into the forwards, but he's also very confident and comfortable doing this. Jumping up in the play, leading the rush. Nice feed from Bukestad. Quick little shot on Kemper. Eagles glove side. Scouting report on Kemper as he struggled on the blocker side this year. Tough to pull that one to the far side. You see his stick there contesting it, but good rush.
Bukestad on the draw for Minnesota. Byram for Colorado. Sends it out to center. Dumba nearly lost it to Burakovsky. Would have been a dangerous chance for the Avs. Brodin across to Dumba, who finds Sturm at center. And now back to Brodin. Fires one in, knocked down by Kemper. Landeskog. Burakovsky has Makar driving the net. Great hustle back by Sturm. And a strong play to deny a scoring chance for Cale Makar. Byram with a shot. Pad save Talbot. Landeskog had it knocked away by Bukestad, and a heavy hit on Duhaime, who was looking the other direction.
That one must have stung Duhaime. I think Makar's the guy. Duhaime gets up, he looks at him. Duhaime's fought in the past. You give him a look. That one stung.
Brodin with it. Dumba ahead through neutral ice, tipped in by Dewar. Eric Johnson back in his own zone. Ahead at the Minnesota line, McDonald moves in, a shot right on, and Talbot makes the save and hangs on. Now Makar with a big hit on Duhaime.
Big and questionable here. Watch this. Almost blindside. Goes. The elbow goes up. But the principal point of contact was certainly higher than it needed to be. I don't know if it caught head or chest, but Duhaime's still on the bench right now. Hasn't had to go down the tunnel.
We'll see if somebody pays a visit on number 8 here before the end of the second period. Tyson Jost will draw against Connor Dewar. Wild win the draw. Comes out to center ice. Girard. Kulikov there for Minnesota, but his pass behind Spurgeon. And now Kulikov with it again. Flips it around the boards. Beckman to the line. Johnson able to hold. Spurgeon to Kulikov. And now Dewar. Off the boards for Rao. Wild have Dewar and Beckman in on the forecheck, but Johnson able to spin safely out of the corner. Off pass here for Girard. Kulikov shoves it around the wall. Foligno with a hit on the corner on Murray. It's almost like Foligno decided to take this shift to establish the body. Had Kadri in his sights on that one, but Kadri got rid of the puck a stride before Foligno got there.
Nothing to do with it.
Ranta couldn't get it by Eriksson Ek. Murray to O'Connor, who dumps it in. Kulikov back to pick it up for Minnesota. Around the wall to Foligno. Foligno's pass too far for Kaprizov. He battles along the wall in the Colorado zone. Kadri back defensively, able to get it out to center ice.
This game taking on a physical element now. I think that favors the Wild, the bigger, heavier club.
Merrill passed on a shot from the high slot. Now it comes loose to the line. Foligno gives to Kaprizov. Try to go back to Foligno. Foligno into the middle, and Eriksson Ek fanned on it. Murray able to clear it out to center ice, and Merrill comes back to pick it up for Minnesota. Merrill connects with Hartman, his long shot. Knocked aside, Gaudreau with it. Back to Brodin. Brodin's shot got through, and Kemper hangs on. We get a whistle with Colorado maintaining a 1-goal lead. Kevin Fiala still looking for his first shot attempt of the night. We've played more than half the game. Fiala got off to a good start this season. 3 points in his first 3 games. The last 4, even though the shots are up, he has not found his way to the score sheet.
No, and I think early on he was doing all the right things, bringing the puck to the net. I think he was offensively noticeable off the rush, in zone, on the power play. Now starting to cheat a little bit. I think that's gotten him in some trouble. You can't cheat for offense and then turn it into a -5 over a stretch of 4 games. Once you get that net negative, it's tough to catch up.
Brodin dumps it in. Burakovsky ahead to McKinnon. Gaudreau able to knock it back out through neutral ice. Hartman's there, but turns it over at the Colorado line to the wrong guy. McKinnon leads the rush the other way. Burakovsky to McKinnon. Pulled down by Gaudreau. Gaudreau lost his stick on the play. Fiala in behind for Dumba. Jonas Brodin sets up shop behind the Minnesota net. 7.5 to go in the second period. Nico Sturm races into the Colorado zone. Sturm threw it through the crease, wanted Duhaime. And now Johnson can't get it by Sturm along the wall. Duhaime for Bukestad in the corner. Duhaime back in the middle. Merrill steps up to hold the zone. But now the Avs gain control and clear. O'Connor ahead for Ranta. He's plastered in the corner by Duhaime. Ranta still with it. O'Connor tied up. Merrill flipped it into the corner. Strong play by Ranta as he knocks Addison off the puck. Wild grab it here, and Sturm comes to center. Minnesota needs a change. He dumps it in, and a fresh 5 for the Wild. Girard hounded by Beckman. Rao plays it back in. Doers on it. For Rao, his shot was blocked. Kulikov holds the zone, took a hit from Helm after doing so. Avs back the other way. McDonald throws a one-hander on goal. Talbot knocks that one down. Byram across for Johnson. And ahead to McDonald. Cuts to the middle, a shot save. Talbot. And he smothers the rebound. Tickets for Kids Charities works to create a world where our most vulnerable children feel included, valued, and inspired to reach their full potential. Every $25 donation makes it possible for 6 kids to explore a museum, attend a concert, or a sporting event. Help make sure these opportunities are a part of every childhood. To donate, go to ticketsforkids.org. But a much more stable second period for Minnesota.
No, it certainly has, and I think they've done a better job playing with the puck. Anthony, the D have been active. Good job getting up the ice, joining the play, making the Avalanche D have to turn. I mean, on paper, it's a good-looking D car, but you make them turn, and you're physical, they will turn it over.
Dumba carries out from behind his net. Foligno for Eriksson. Ducks around to check. Landeskog back defensively. Dumba throws a big hit back of the net. It takes him out of position, and now we're going to get a penalty behind the play. Dumba hit Landeskog, and the retaliatory shot from the Avs captain gives Minnesota a power play. He has the Avs' first penalty.
Well, I think he's aware. You look up, you see Matt Dumba, you know him. Landeskog in his own defensive zone knows that Matt Dumba maybe shouldn't be in that spot. Maybe felt that Matt took a little bit of a liberty there, gave him an extra shot, but in the end, wasn't much of a shot, but still, Landeskog's going to sit down for 2 in the Wild power play. Get him back in this one, tied up.
Wild trying to break a 0 for 13 over the last 4 games on the power play. The Avs kill has been good, 85%. Wild open with 4 forwards, Eriksson, Fiala, Gaudreau, and Kaprizov. Spurgeon the only defenseman. Gaudreau taking the spot that's normally occupied by Matt Zuccarello. Face-off win for Colorado and an early clear. Comfer and O'Connor, the forwards on the kill for the Avs. Eriksson hits the Colorado line, and Minnesota's offside.
Well, Anthony, the schedule's picked up. Travel's been more challenging, less practice time. I think eventually it leads to plays like that. You've got a power play breakout, looks like an easy dump. Maybe timing isn't fully there like it would be had you had plenty of practice. In the name of keeping people healthy too, I think that's part of the reason why they haven't practiced a lot. They didn't practice yesterday for that reason.
Avalanche penalty number 92.
Wound up not practicing in Seattle either. Eriksson carries in. Fiala sends it around. Kaprizov has it there. Watched by O'Connor. Got it through to Gaudreau. And then Gaudreau able to hold the zone. Strong play by Gaudreau. Gaudreau from the circle, a shot. That's blocked. Then he tried to play to the point, and Fiala can't get there in time to hold.
A good second effort from Gaudreau for sure. And again, the Wild power play, when it's moving and they're interchangeable, the confusion creates opportunity.
Gaudreau flips to the corner. Wild 3-on-2 on the loose puck. Gaudreau got it to the line for Spurgeon. Back to Gaudreau. Like he was trying to go back to the point with that one. Now Spurgeon does have it. Kaprizov moves in. His shot was blocked. Loose puck. Erik Johnson shaken up. Kaprizov plays down low. Johnson got a stick on it. Eriksson tracks it down, finds Fiala. Fiala tried to go to the point. Got it back to Eriksson. Johnson really laboring in front of the Colorado goal. Spurgeon with it. Across, Fiala into the middle, Gaudreau. Spurgeon, Kaprizov moves in, a shot. Save Kemper. Rebound, Eriksson couldn't knock it out of the air. Spurgeon fires, and that one blocked, deflected to the glass. Helm lost it to Kaprizov. Kaprizov on the wraparound. Save Kemper. Rebound, Eriksson sent it wide. Spurgeon has it. Into the corner, Gaudreau. Back for Spurgeon. Fiala. Down low to Kaprizov. Back to Fiala. Spurgeon a drive. Saved by Kemper. And it deflects out of play as Landeskog returns. Great pressure from the Wild. Good looks at Kemper. But Kemper equal to the challenge, and it's still 1-0.
Well, whether on purpose or not, this the shot that hits Erik Johnson, hurts him. The Wild do a good job taking advantage of this later. Johnson can't move. Kirill finds some open ice there. Johnson can't recover to the middle. Eriksson Ek almost a chance there. Again, Erik Johnson down and out. Jared Spurgeon with a good shot labeled low blocker. Darcy Kemper there for it.
Kemper barking a little bit with Eriksson Ek after the play. Wild were able to get under his skin in some of the recent meetings when he was in Arizona. Hartman has his stick knocked out of his hands, and another penalty coming against Colorado. Slashing call will put Minnesota right back on the power play. It'll send Landeskog right back to the penalty box.
Colorado number 4, 2 minutes for slashing.
Well, the call goes against Byram. He heads to the box, and Minnesota onto the power play. When you get another power play, you're just talking about the practice time and the chemistry. This quickly after you just had a successful one, help or hurt?
Oh, and there's no question it helps. You've got some tired killers on the Avalanche side now. You've got some momentum for the Wild. But again, Anthony, when you look at it, you talk about this. It's the whack, Bowen Byram. The Avalanche, see, they don't like to defend. Quite frankly, they're not as good at it as they are playing up the ice in the offensive zone. So force them to do that. They'll have to take penalties. Now the second unit for the Wild. First unit was great. Now it's going to look like a shooting power play. They're going to throw everything at Kemper and try to find a way to get an ugly one.
Yeah, and this is part of why I was asking the question, because the first group was just on the ice, so you've got some fatigue there. Evason opts to just start with the other power play group. Second chance for the Wild in this game. Brodin holds his own for Minnesota. Hartman along the wall. Able to work it by Comfer. Brodin around to the other point. Dumba's there. Into the middle, Hartman. Gets pressure from Kadri. Comes loose to Brodin. Dumba down low for Foligno. Into the middle, Hartman scores! And the power play goal for Ryan Hartman is 4th of the year, as Minnesota even 1-1.
Well, we talked Ryan Hartman and paid him off on how good his game has been. Now on the power play, scores a very similar looking goal to what he scored in Seattle. Does a good job, but how about Marcus Foligno here? Wild do a great job patiently getting control of this. A look off fake, like he's going back to Dumba. Through the Avalanche box, Hartman ready. Primed one time, quick little wrister. Again, he beats Kemper, blocker side, far side on him. Weak, Kemper looks up to the ceiling. Wants that one back, but the Wild tie that one up. They've tilted the ice, Anthony, and the power play cashes in.
Almost the exact same spot from which he scored Thursday against Seattle.
And how about the play by Marcus Foligno? We say it time and time again. We don't give him enough credit for his playmaking and offensive ability. That was a fantastic play on the goal line.
So Minnesota rewarded for their time in the zone with 2 power play chances. They cash in on the second, snapping a 0 for 14 run. Wild good at the line. Duhaime with a shot, saved by Kemper. Bouncing puck, Bukestad absorbs a check from Landeskog. McKinnon out to center. Dumba tried to get a hit on McKinnon, who then sends Brodin reeling. Back into the middle, Johnson walks in and scores.
Well, Nathan McKinnon with an absolute statement shift after the Wild get 2 power plays, score on the second. He takes matters into his own hands. Strong shift. He wins a battle down low. Big physical play on Brodin. And then Johnson, Sturm caught in the middle, tries to stick check. Too much room in the interior of the ice, right in the middle. Little fake. Johnson's able to walk down. Doesn't load it. Quick shot. and Johnson scores in an almost identical spot to where Ryan Hartman scores. 7-hole under the blocker.
Takes Colorado only 42 seconds to answer the Minnesota goal. And they are back in front by 1. Mentioned Johnson was limited to just 4 games last year. He had to wait a couple years since his last goal. Spurgeon racing back, but O'Connor gets there first, and a kick save by Talbot on a mini breakaway for O'Connor.
Block shot for O'Connor, and then it's off to the races. Catches up with this one first. Talbot does a great job receiving the speed. O'Connor was absolutely flying. Good back check by the Wild, keeping O'Connor to his backhand, making the read a little bit easier on Cam Talbot, but he catches that one with the pad. Huge save.
Those Avalanche club started the season a little slowly. Lost 3 of their first 4. Some of their big guns have been out. Landeskog was suspended for a couple games. McKinnon missed 2. Rantanen out tonight. But you can see the firepower that this team possesses. And there's little doubt that when it's all said and done, they'll be at or near the top of the league in scoring. They led the league last year with more than 3.5 goals per game.
Well, that shift by McKinnon after the goal just so big for many reasons, Anthony. Obviously, they regained the lead, but Darcy Kemper, we've seen him in the past. He can start reeling. Verbal altercations with Wild players. He gives up a goal he's not happy about. He can quickly give up a second, a third. But stopping that before it happens. McKinnon scoring the goal, bailing the goaltender out.
Byram trying to go to McKinnon. A great atmosphere in the building here tonight. It is a jam-packed house to see this divisional battle, and Kaprizov brings himself in offside. Choose from 3 unique Love Your Melon beanies when you choose this special ticket pack for the Wild Devils game on Thursday, December 2nd. Find your seats at wild.com/themepacks. Always more than just a few Wild fans in attendance when these teams meet out here in Denver. Plenty of Wild sweaters in the crowd tonight.
Impressive amount of reverse retro jerseys, so they're not just Wild fans, they're recent Wild fans.
So there have been some heavy hits delivered by the Avs in the last half of this second period. Landeskog tried to go to McKinnon. That doesn't connect. Icing against Colorado. And the Wild will get an offensive zone draw with 1:18 left. Each team with 1 here in the second period, and it's 2-1 Colorado.
Gaudreau getting ready to take this one. He's got the icing, trying to set up his play. Probably look for Fiala, maybe wing from the wall over the top.
A lot of talking before the draw. Landeskog able to win it. Colorado captain pushes into the Minnesota zone, swings wide against Dumba. Talbot with a shoulder save. Burakovsky to McKinnon. Now Makar moving in, and Makar has it poke checked away by Brodin. Brodin's been awesome on this trip. Byram to McKinnon. Lost it at the Minnesota line. Byram steps up. Brodin calmly knocks it off of his stick. Landeskog able to hold the zone. Kadri wheels and fires. That goes wide. Magna sends it in behind the net. Hartman got it to the line. Girard holds. And now Fiala comes out of the corner with it for Minnesota. 22 seconds left in the period. Dumba to Gaudreau, who deflects it in. Minnesota changing. Girard. Takes his time, then sends it the length of the ice. It'll be icing against Colorado, but down to 2.3 seconds remaining. Here's tonight's Stats Made Easy, presented by Geico. Cale Makar is one of the top up-and-coming young offensive defensemen in the NHL. Took him only 108 games to get to 100 career points.
Just 2 less than hometown Phil Housley. Even the names on that list, that's a pretty impressive list. Brian Leach, Zubov.
Eriksson Ek wins the draw, but Kaprizov couldn't get a shot away before the horn sounds, ending the second period.
Well, Wild, they get their chances on the power play, and they earned them, Anthony. They're the better team for the better part of that period. They get one on the power, but Nathan MacKinnon proves why he's one of the best in the world. Goes down, has a fantastic shift. Eric Johnson gets the go-ahead goal just 40-some seconds later.
Calen Addison making his season debut for the Wild. He'll chat with Kevin Gorg during our upcoming second intermission. Wild Hockey on Valley Sports North is brought to you by Grand Casino. Let your story begin. And by Luther Group. Shop the Twin Cities' largest selection of vehicles at lutherauto.com.
Through 40 minutes at Ball Arena, it's the Avalanche 2 and the Wild 1, joined by the youngster on the blue line, Calen Addison. You get the call up, and here you are, jam-packed arena, one of the fastest teams in the league. Should fit your styles pretty well. How much fun are you having?
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, anytime you can get an NHL game, it's the time of your life, and kind of an adventure yesterday, but, you know, I'm just happy to be here, just here to impact the team and try to get 2 points.
As you start to build your NHL resume, how much did it help last year to not only play in big games with the Wild, but to play in the playoffs against a quality opponent?
For sure. I mean, any game you can get in just helps your experience and just kind of understanding different situations and stuff out there. And like you said, obviously getting into playoff games even that much more intense, and they mean that much more to us. So, I mean, I'm just thankful for the opportunity, really.
You look the part out there. Playing great. Keep it going in the third.
Thank you very much.
Calen Addison and the Wild down 1 through 40 minutes. It's an awesome hockey game. When we come back, we'll head back to the studio and take a look at the debut this season for number 87 in Pittsburgh, Sid the Kid.
America Studio Sports Update. We go to Pittsburgh for the return of Sid the Kid against the Devils. Sidney Crosby missed the first 7 games after a wrist surgery in September. Tonight he was kept off the score sheet, and his tripping penalty against Jesper Bratt was costly because there's Bratt deking to the backhand and finds Twine to break up the tie late in the third period, and the Devils win it 4-3. So now here we are, the Minnesota Wild, back-to-back penalty opportunities there, or power play opportunities, excuse me. The first one, a lot of pressure, a lot of good opportunities. Great to see them cash in on the second chance.
Yeah, I love that Dean Evison went with the second unit. The power play, as Anthony and Karts mentioned, it's been 0 for 14. It's been a bit of a struggle, and I Karts also mentioned that low blocker is a spot where you can beat Darcy Kemper, and that's exactly where Ryan Hartman beats him. Just slips into that quiet area there and shoots on the blocker side. So look for the Wild to kind of shoot on that blocker side. It's always been his Achilles heel. The Wild are having a difficult time right now, especially over the last 3 or 4 games, creating much of anything 5-on-5. So their power play has kind of bled into their 5-on-5 play. I think to win this game here, the Wild are really going to have their defensemen jump up and make a big play. Someone is going to have to make a big play on the back end 5-on-5 if the Wild want to get a point or 2 here out of Denver tonight.
All right, Ryan Hartman with the goal. He now leads the Wild with 4 goals on this season. Still some work to do, though, for the Wild. They're down 2-1 after 2. We'll send you back out to Denver for stats and highlights after the break.
Avs lead it 2-1 after 2. Here's our Grand Casino story of the game. Byram's pass connects with MacKinnon. Across to Burakovsky. Back to Landeskog. He scores. Behind Fiala. That allows Johnson to hold the zone. Into the middle. Helm a shot, and that went off the post. And across to Bukestad. Bukestad to Addison. Moving in, and a glove save by Kemper. Helm lost it to Kaprizov. Kaprizov on the wraparound. Save Kemper. Rebound. Eriksson Ek sent it wide. Dumba down low for Foligno. Into the middle. Hartman scores! And the power play goal for Ryan Hartman is 4th of the year as Minnesota even 1-1. Dumba tried to get a hit on McKinnon, who then sends Brodin reeling. Back into the middle. Johnson walks in and scores. Numbers through 2 mirrored the numbers in the first. Avs outshot Minnesota 15-8 in the first. Minnesota turned the tables 15-8 in the second.
Yeah, for me, it was all about offensive zone time. They were patient. They held on to it. Eventually, they earned some power plays. Able to throw some rubber on net with that, too. So now they know what to do, and they've just got 20 minutes to do it.
Third period face-off as Minnesota tries to return home with a winning trip. Final 20 next.
I think it's time.
Johnson with the go-ahead goal for Colorado late in the second period. And now the Wild face a 1-goal deficit heading into the final 20 minutes. They were in the same spot Thursday in Seattle. Generated a tremendous amount of zone time and offensive chances, but could not beat former Colorado goaltender Philip Grubauer. Wild 1-1 so far on the trip. Here's Kirill Kaprizov with a takeaway. In the middle of a stretch where they'll play 7 out of 9 on the road. And an early icing call here will give Minnesota an offensive zone draw. Wild have been very good in tight games this season. 5-0 in 1-goal games. Best record in the National Hockey League. Colorado's only been in 2 1-goal games out of their first 7.
The come from behind wins are obviously exciting, Anthony, but it's good to see him in Vancouver win a tight game, close that one out.
Foligno's pass hit a stick. McKinnon nearly created a loose puck at the Minnesota line. And here's Kaprizov. Double teamed as he tried to dump it in. And Byram sends it across to Makar. Landeskog. Brodin goes back. Eriksson Ek there. Trifecta of Swedes in the corner on that loose puck. Erik Johnson back in his own zone against pressure from Ryan Hartman, the goal scorer for Minnesota. Talbot sends it around. Spurgeon back to Kulikov. And Hartman unable to deflect this one on the right side of the red line, so it's icing against Minnesota.
Well, it was a good play. Efficient breakout. Hartman does a good job shoulder checking there, sees the streak, and Fiala just narrowly misses him.
Draw here in the Minnesota zone. Brodin. Hartman just out of the reach of Gaudreau, but it connects with Fiala. Gaudreau driving the net, and Fiala has his attempt deflected up and out of play by Erik Johnson. Dean Evason not concerned at this point with the lack of scoring from Fiala and Kaprizov, but said he wants there to be a little more attention to detail in their game.
Yeah, again, Anthony, and I think it comes down to everybody goes through dry spells in their offense, and when it clicks, these guys are going to go on a run. But what it can't lead to right now is you taking chances, turning the puck over, or having defensive lapses and being the result. Puck going in the back of your own net.
Gaudreau trying to keep it alive. Comes loose at center, and Darren Helm flips it down into Minnesota ice. Kulikov back defensively. Magna takes a hit from Spurgeon. Fiala's pass knocked away by Makar, but recovered by Kulikov. Icing waved off. The Wild will change. Jack Johnson flips it in from the Minnesota line. Duhaime there. Around behind for Merrill. Merrill goes cross ice and it just skips by Duhaime. It'll be icing against Minnesota. That one didn't miss by much.
Well, Duhaime got a piece of it. He's just on the wrong side of the red there, but yeah, if that one connects. You like that one-on-one Duhaime with some speed, big body, taking that one to the net.
Avs will go to their big guns with the offensive zone draw after the icing call. Sturm, who's been brilliant on faceoffs this season, tangling with Landeskog on the circle. The Wild come away with the puck. Addison has it. Duhaime flips it in from the Avs line. Oh, he slams Byram into the wall, and that's going to be a penalty against Duhaime. Duhaime drops the gloves. He and McKinnon going at it. Remember, Duhaime took a high hit from Cale Makar earlier in the game that went uncalled. And here, Nathan McKinnon comes to the defense of another Avs defenseman, Bowen Byram, after Duhaime takes him into the end wall.
Well, I thought Duhaime had an opportunity to take a star player on the Avalanche to the box for 5 minutes after that Makar hit. Didn't play out that way. This one, he takes a board, cross-check. We'll see what they call this. That's a dangerous hit. Should make it. That's a penalty no matter what. Then McKinnon comes in. I think the refs are talking down here, potentially an instigator. At least let's hope that's what they're talking about, Anthony. It could be a 5-minute major, but
they could be talking about more than 2 minutes. But if McKinnon's is not an instigator, I'm not sure what is.
Has been assessed a 5-minute major penalty on the play. The play will now be reviewed.
So by assessing a major, they can now take a look at it. I'm not sure it warrants a major, do you?
It's a dangerous spot, Anthony. I think that's a play they want out of the game, and though Byram doesn't get hurt, I think at the same time it sets precedent. There's no question that's a very dangerous play. You've got a vulnerable player, cross-check, looking at the wall. There's no argument it's a penalty. Major, maybe. But again, for me, is there going to be an instigator? Yes, it's a 5-minute major now. Are you going to call a 2-minute or an instigator against McKinnon? Turn what could be a soft major into a 3-minute power play.
I don't know. Hard not to call that an instigator.
Yeah, again, I don't have an issue with the major. That's a dangerous play, and if calling it a major gets that out of the game, that's okay. Yeah, Byram popped right back up, good for him, but that's how you blow shoulders out. That's how you get concussed. So I don't have an issue with the major, but the instigator, I think it should be called here. Skated over, fought, not the guy involved in the incident.
Right, it's different if he was the guy who took the hit and he jumps up and drops the gloves.
Right.
This is a guy who came across the ice. And let's see.
Upon video review, Minnesota number 21's been assessed a 5-minute major for cross-checking, 2 minutes for roughing. Number 29 for Colorado, 2 minutes for roughing.
Oh, boy.
That's actually terrible, Anthony. That is so terrible because McKinnon certainly dropped the gloves, so he should be out for 5. They got a 5-minute major now. Now McKinnon not only does not have to sit for 5 minutes, he can come out after 2, jump on, and get 3 minutes of power play time. That's terrible, Anthony.
I couldn't agree more. I guess that's one way to get out of calling an instigator if you don't call it a fight. But if that's not a fight, I'm not sure what constitutes a fight.
Both parties willing. Both parties dropped the gloves. Yes, it ended quickly. Boy, Dean Evason not happy. And I don't blame him at all. That's just not right.
And you could read his lips right there. He said, "That's not a fight in your eyes."
And that's the issue, right? Like that's the issue. Okay, now you can't even argue the instigator. You've got to argue Nathan McKinnon can come back on and play 3 minutes on a 5-minute major.
And Duhaime has gone down the tunnel. I'm not sure why that is. He only got 7 minutes of the automatic ejection.
So gloves come off. As we watch this, gloves come off, ask, yes, let's go. Both guys off, punches are thrown, no gloves. You can count, yes, it goes down. But that's a 5 or 10 second fight, no question about it. There was a takedown. All elements of a fight are right there, Anthony.
That's a brutal call. Absolutely brutal call. So it's a 5-minute power play for Colorado. I mean, not only is it only 2 minutes for McKinnon and he's back for 3 minutes of power play, I really thought that it was a legit instigator situation.
Well, there's no question. I did too. Again, we talked about it, not the guy.
Landeskog sends it across and they score. So it takes him 29 seconds on the power play. Nazem Kadri beats Talbot and it's 3-1 Colorado.
Well, you don't want to make excuses for anybody, Anthony, and that's certainly not what's happening here, but it's tough when you get the short end of the stick there. Wild kill comes back. Marcus Foligno loses his stick, tries to track it, pick it up. Too much room there. Landeskog finds Kadri over there. One-timer. Cam Talbot, he's been on time. Hasn't had to move that far yet tonight. Through the seam, can't catch up with it. Tough break.
And of course the power play continues for Colorado. Still 4.5 minutes left in a man advantage and now holding a 2-goal lead. Comfer to Landeskog, who picked up a helper on this recent goal, his second point of the night. Jost to Makar, back to Jost. So Duhaime was also given a 10-minute misconduct penalty. That's why he went down the tunnel. So he gets 17 minutes in penalties, and McKinnon gets 2.
Should be 20 minutes, Anthony.
Makar leaves it back to Comfer. Kadri. Cut off by Kulikov. Landeskog with it. 3.5 left in the power play. A centering pass, and Talbot handles a deflection and off of Kulikov, and Talbot snatches it out of the air.
As cliche as it is, I think you got to sit on the Wild bench and you got to find some life and say, hey, let's finish this kill. We've got 3:25 left. Yes, we're down 2. You've got to think that at some point the Wild are going to get a power play. As long as they play the right way, kill this. Stick with it.
Kadri with the goal for Colorado. He had a goal on Thursday at St. Louis that snapped a 4-game scoring drought. Third goal this season for Kadri. Girard to Byram and back to Girard. Into the middle. Good work by Eriksson Ek. He wrestles it away, comes to center, and Byram retreats. McKinnon will be free to come out on the next whistle. Girard sends it across. Byram with it. McDonald back to Byram and across now to Girard. Drops it to Byram. His shot blocked. And the puck deflects up into the netting and out of play. So we get a whistle with 2:43 left. Stay connected. Get the best Wild content, ticket, and retail offers, and more delivered directly to you. Get started at wild.com/connect. So McKinnon's out of the penalty box and a part of the power play with 2:43 left in this Avs man advantage. They've already scored once. Dean Evason continues to trust these youngsters. Connor Dewar, who made his NHL debut on Thursday night in Seattle, out on the penalty kill here against the Avs. Big guns in a big spot. Landeskog wins the draw. McKinnon a drive, save Talbot. Compher couldn't find the handle on the rebound before he was tied up by Brodin. Dewar hands it off to Fiala. Fiala shorthanded for Minnesota, tried to nudge it ahead into Colorado territory, and Makar circles back. Landeskog nearly lost it to Fiala. Here's Kadri. Back to McKinnon. To the line, Makar. McKinnon a drive, and that one was blocked. Kadri after it, chased by Brodin. McKinnon tried to center, ricochets back to Makar. Now McKinnon with it. Wild really need to change. Makar plays to Kadri, back to McKinnon. That one sails over the top of the goal. Gaudreau able to chip it up the wall, but not out of the zone. Compher holds. McKinnon back to Makar, and Merrill gets the clear that will let Minnesota get a fresh 4 on the ice.
Wow, they were certainly tired, Anthony. Gaudreau, 50-50 battle, maybe could get that puck out, didn't have enough gas to get it. Avs tried to get a little cute there. I think they probably had time if they were patient with it, but John Merrill jumps on a loose puck and clears it.
Penalty coming against Hartman. Got his stick caught in the feet of Sampo Ranta.
Minnesota number 38. 2 minutes, tripping.
And it'll be a 2-man advantage for a minute 9. And a very dangerous point in the game right here for Minnesota.
Yeah, not so happy hour for Ryan Hartman. Takes 2 guys down. Stick with that one on Ranta. You said it, Anthony. They got a minute 9 now. Now they're really backing themselves up. Minute 9, 5-on-3.
Compher to the line, McKinnon. 5-on-3 for the Avs. McKinnon into the middle, Makar. Down low, Compher. Back to McKinnon. Makar into the corner, Kadri. Back to McKinnon. Blocked by Spurgeon. Sprawled but couldn't get it out of the zone. McKinnon holds. McKinnon moves to the middle. Good stick by Spurgeon, deflects it away. Makar in the middle. McKinnon a drive, saved by Talbot, and it ricochets up and out of play. 38 left in the 2-man advantage.
Fantastic work by the captain, Jared Spurgeon there. Blocks a big one-timer from McKinnon. Avs set that play up. He's got a good stick, making things hard on him. Eventually the Avs have to fire from long range. Not a problem for Talbot.
Off the draw, Spurgeon and Kadri wrestling for the puck. Avs hold the zone. Compher back to McKinnon. Into the middle, wanted Landeskog, and it's broken up and cleared. Huge clear for the Wild. 22 seconds left in the 2-man advantage. Makar carries down low. Gives to McKinnon. McKinnon moves in. Sent it wide. Kadri has it. Back to McKinnon. Makar. McKinnon. Defended by Stern. Down to Kadri. Out for Makar. It sounded like it caught the post. And either that or caught Kulikov's helmet. And it takes away a breakaway opportunity for Minnesota because Beckman had just jumped out of the penalty box.
Another bad break for the Wild for sure. Kulikov in some pain as he rushes down the tunnel. Looks like he caught that one in the ear off the helmet. But as this one, one-timer right off the ear. Oh, that hurts. Again, the misfortune. Beckman out of the box, breakaway.
Sometimes things just don't go your way.
No.
And Beckman's in on a lone breakaway. And obviously the safety of Kulikov was the reason for the whistle. I think Kulikov would probably tell you, hey, let's see what happens on the breakaway first. Offside whistle. 42 seconds left in the Avs power play. Avs have been on the man advantage for basically the last 5 minutes, part of it a two-man. When it's all said and done, they'll have had the extra attacker for about 6 consecutive minutes in this game. Byram back under pressure from Foligno. Tyson Jost with a half a minute left in the power play. Back to Byram. Spurgeon goes back defensively for Minnesota. Got it to Merrill. Into the corner, it's Erikssonek. And he'll get a clear. That might do it on this Avs power play. And all said and done, I think if you had told the Wild you're going to be short for the next 6 minutes, two-man for a minute and a half, you'd probably take 1 goal against.
Well, they certainly have to be happy with it. It was a good kill. Tough break. Foligno losing a stick. Without that, maybe the Avs don't get anything.
Hartman tried to center for Dewar. Wild back at full strength. Dumba with it. Across to Brodin. His long shot held by Kemper, and he hangs on. Avs add a power play tally and lead it 3-1.
First period with a pretty passing play. The captain, Gabriel Landeskog, gets the goal. It was 1-0 after 1. Speaking of pretty passing, Foligno to Hartman on the power play. The Wild tie it at 1, but within a minute later, McKinnon makes the play on the forecheck. Former Gopher Eric Johnson finishes it off. 2-1 Avs going to the third and a bunch of power play time. And within that, Nazem Kadri blasts one home. But guys, the Wild kind of weathered the storm with that 5-on-3. Maybe a little momentum after a hard-working kill. Got time to get back in this one here late.
Well, we'll see if they can generate a little momentum from the kill, even though they surrendered the 1 power play goal. When you go short for 6 consecutive minutes, that's a tall task for your penalty killers.
There's no question. The end of a road trip, too. Third period, down a goal, short a bunch of guys. So now that 6-minute stretch, you got to tax your number 1, your number 2 D-man. You're taxing your best killer in Erikssonek, who's your top line center. Yeah, obviously, the picture I'm painting is it's a bigger hill to climb.
Kaprizov with it. His long shot deflected and into the netting, out of play. Face-off again will come in the Avalanche zone. Wild officially have not yet recorded a shot in this period, although clearly Brodin's wrist shot held by Kemper a couple of moments ago would qualify. That Kaprizov shot was blocked. Out to center where it's floated in by Kadri. Kaprizov couldn't get it by Helm. Dumba knocks it away, and Kaprizov emerges from back of the net. Dumba to Erikssonek at the Colorado line. Foligno got a stick on it. Kaprizov tangled up in the corner. Foligno trying to dig it loose. Dumba pinches from the line. Able to force it by Megna, but not past Kadri. And Helm clears to center. John Merrill back of the net for Minnesota. Avs forced to do a little line juggling. Andre Burakovsky has not seen the ice yet here in the third period. He's not on the Colorado bench. So that means JT Compher takes his spot with McKinnon and Landeskog here. Fiala holding off a check. Got it to Spurgeon. Ahead to Gaudreau at center ice. Knocked out of the air by Landeskog. It'll be a hand pass against Colorado. We're past halfway through the third. Avs lead it 3-1. Today, 7 players placed into COVID protocol and their head coach, and they found a way to beat the Jets 2-1 in overtime. Timo Meier with the winner. Maple Leafs got goals from Mitch Marner and Jake Muzzin in a win over the Red Wings. Boston won, ending Florida's win streak at 8 games. The first time in NHL history a team had played 5 games in a row against an undefeated opponent. That's what the Bruins wrapped up today. Charlie McAvoy scored the tying goal late. Charlie Coyle, former Wild forward, won it in the shootout. Andrew Burnett's club falls to 8-0-1. Addison with it here for Minnesota. Wild looking for an offensive spark. Kaprizov sidesteps Jost. Gains the zone to Foligno. Kaprizov had it back, got it to the line. Merrill's shot off a stick into the corner. Kaprizov back to Merrill. His long shot tipped out front, winds up wide. Spurgeon sends it around for Kaprizov. Out to the line for Merrill. Forced it through, got it to Kaprizov. Back to the wall for Spurgeon. All the way across, and it skips by Foligno and out to center.
Well, Wild doing everything they can there just to try to get that puck settled down where they can do something with it. Hot potato ends up bouncing out of the zone.
Foligno holding off Byram. Tried to center it for Eriksson Ek. He was well covered out front. Magna into the Minnesota zone. Jost slides it across. Wanted a tip by Helm, and Talbot able to get a stick on it.
I think that lays in front and maybe almost went in off a skate. John Merrill engaged in a battle there. Talbot with a sprawling save to keep it from crossing the goal line.
Gaudreau and Fiala in on the forecheck. Jack Johnson comes away with it, but Brodin holds. Now Fiala slammed into the wall back of the net. Dumba pinches and holds. Gaudreau knocked it down. Kadri takes it away. Got it out to neutral ice. Fiala plays it back the other way off the heel of Hartman's stick. And Brodin comes back to claim it for Minnesota. Avs changing. Dumba goes back to Dewar. And across now to Dumba. Kaprizov weaves his way into the Colorado zone. Dewar back to the line for Dumba. In the middle, it's Brodin. Winds and fires. Blocked by Landeskog. Wild have to tag up. That allows Colorado to clear. Compher picks it up. Into the Minnesota zone. Back to McKinnon. Tried to go across. Murray into the corner for McKinnon. McKinnon carries up high. Long shot. Ricochets off of O'Connor. Dumba knocks it to the wall, and the Wild might have numbers here at center. Beckman, however, couldn't handle the pass cleanly. Dewar with a hit in front of the Colorado bench.
Well, again, the Wild just can't settle the puck down, just bouncing everywhere.
Byram had it poked away by Beckman. Byram able to recover in time. Bukestad takes Byram down. Addison across to Merrill. Bukestad with it. Sturm racing in, got there before Makar. Beckman tied up by Jost. Long wrist shot, gloved and held by Kemper. Our car-sealed protection play comes from Minnesota goaltender Cam Talbot, who keeps the deficit at 2.
And how about the athleticism there? Gets a good push, flexibility, snaps that toe. Everything he's got, every inch he's got. Keep that one out of his own net, but fantastic save there to keep the deficit at 2.
Just over 6 minutes left. Eriksson Ek wins the draw. Merrill in behind for Eriksson Ek. He's run over from behind. Foligno. Eriksson Ek trying to keep it alive. Merrill races back but can't get there in time to hold the zone. He's tied up by Helm. Eriksson Ek jumps on a loose puck. Foligno tips to Kaprizov. His shot right on, saved by Kemper. Foligno driving in, collides with Kemper, and the puck comes back out to center ice. And we'll get icing here against Minnesota with 5:21 left. Kemper signaled to the official he's okay, but certainly appears to be work something off after a minor collision with Foligno.
Just a little collision. Kemper kind of dancing around like maybe he got it. Something where it hurts.
Landeskog tried to walk to the middle off the faceoff. He runs over Addison. Foligno knocks it down, then he and Landeskog nearly collide, and Landeskog took exception to that one.
Wow, did he though? He had a look at who it was and decided I'll just take my medicine.
Opted to do his talking with his tongue instead of his fist.
Exactly.
Battle along the wall. McKinnon comes out to center. Talbot sweeps it ahead for Dumba as Colorado changes. Fiala lost control of it. Talbot with another save. Jost has the rebound in the corner. 4.5 to go here in Denver. Jost trying to spin away from Dumba. Dumba has him tied up along the boards. Jost finally goes down. Jack Johnson able to hold the zone, but now Gaudreau goes across to Fiala. He needs a change. Hartman in on the forecheck. Jack Johnson ducks under him to win that puck battle. Kulikov back on the ice. Kaprizov. Jost ahead for Ranta. Poke checked away at the Minnesota line, but Avs content just to keep the clock rolling and the puck out of their zone. Kaprizov plays to the corner. Rao looking for Dewar. Kaprizov got it through to Dewar. Loose puck picked up by Rao. He fires, saved by Kemper. Rebound controlled by Kadri. Spurgeon tried to center. Back to the line. Kulikov shot blocked. Dewar has it. Dewar's long shot deflected, but that goes wide. Kulikov able to hold the zone. Kadri dives, can't get it out. Sharp angle shot knocked down by Kemper, but he can't control. Kaprizov and Rao jamming away. Still no whistle. Puck comes loose. Sturm wheels and fires. That goes just wide. Megna able to golf it out to center ice.
Wild with another good flurry. Seen a lot of Kaprizov. I think he's getting doubled up right now. Dean Evason looking to maybe just have him work through it.
Puck out of play, but it's tipped. No penalty coming. Inside 3 minutes left in the Wild, down 2.
For our post-game show, Wild Live, but we'll break down another rock-solid game from that guy, Ryan Hartman. We'll take a look at the Colorado Avalanche taking advantage of a lot of power play time in period number 3. We'll get the thoughts from head coach Dean Evason. One thing I know for sure, guys, he really didn't like that call when they didn't call the fighting majors on those two guys that actually dropped the gloves and fought.
Yeah, it was not hard to read his lips or his mind when he was questioning the officials there. We'll hear more from Dean coming up after the game on Wild Live. Here he summons Cam Talbot to the bench with 2:45 left. The Wild will go 6-on-5. Eriksson Ek, Fiala, Kaprizov, Gaudreau, Spurgeon, Brodin. The 6 attackers for Minnesota. Eriksson Ek against Landeskog on the draw. Wild control. Gaudreau back of the net. Eriksson Ek looked like he got hit in the face. He heads to the bench. He's replaced by Foligno. Fiala down low. Gaudreau back to Fiala, and that one's blocked and up into the netting, out of play.
It's leaking.
And he wants to know why there was not a high sticking call against Landeskog on the play. And that's why he's on the ice.
Yeah, incidental contact, likely. It looked bleeding as they come out to scrape that up. Empty net 6-on-5 again, Anthony. I think the goal is make sure you get it off the yellow dash as fast as you can. Get your skates facing towards the net. And then again, down 2. I thought last game they were a little too patient with the puck down 2 in the 6-on-5. You gotta get hungry, throw pucks on net, outnumber them there. I think the Wild have had some success there tonight. Battling the Avalanche in front of their own net. They haven't gotten the bounce, and it hasn't found its way past Kemper. But when they force the Avs to collapse in front of them, there's a lot of room in the offensive zone.
So they have things cleaned up and are ready to return. It's Gaudreau against McKinnon on the draw. Deflected and claimed by Foligno. Out to Brodin. Long shot, saved by Kemper. A lot of traffic in front of him. He was able to track it. Landeskog flips a backhander toward the net, and he scores. Like there was likely going to be a penalty against Fiala on this play anyway. But Landeskog with the empty net goal makes it 4-1.
Yeah, give Fiala 2 points for the takeaway or the takedown here. Landeskog backhander, far post and in, empty cage. Avalanche 3-goal lead. Third empty net goal. The Wild have given up on this road trip. 2 in Seattle. 2:12 left. We'll see what Dean does with Cam Talbot.
Dumba to Sturm at center. Kadri lays it down into the Minnesota zone, and Kulikov's back to pick it up. Dumba out to Sturm. He spins away from Murray. Eric Johnson, JT Compher pick up helpers on the Landeskog goal. Bukestad lays it down into the Colorado zone. Here comes Ranta the other way. Inside a minute and a half left. So the Wild will return home, having dropped 2 of 3 on this trip. 1 home game, then off to Pittsburgh. Kaprizov moves in. His shot knocked away by Kemper. Bowen Byram back the other way for Colorado. Plays it down into the Minnesota end. Talbot threw it into the corner. Walker saved by Talbot on that shot. Jost couldn't catch up with it before Merrill. And it deflects up and out of play. Colorado will earn their 3rd win in the last 4 games and square their season mark at 4-4.
Pretty even game, Anthony. Despite all the adversity the Wild have faced, the roster issues, COVID, injury, they came out and played a good road game. Battled the penalty trouble, and ultimately I think that's the difference.
Until the 6-minute power play for Colorado here in the 3rd period, I think you're exactly right. Take that away, and it's a 2-1 game at that point, with the play very even, if not in Minnesota's favor. Gaudreau with it. Out to the line, Merrill. Down to 20 seconds. Wild will see Ottawa at home, then go to Pittsburgh for a battle with the Penguins. Out. Wraps it around the wall. Merrill holds. And that'll take us to the final horn. The Avs win it by a final of 4-1. And Minnesota drops 2 of 3 on the road trip.
Cam Talbot, who started the season 5-0, has now lost 2 in a row, something he only did once all of last year. Great in Seattle. Looks really good early tonight. Too much for the Wild, though. The Avalanche, the power play. Nathan MacKinnon, a strong night. As you said, they fall 2-1 on the road trip, or 1-2, I'm sorry.
Much more still to come. You'll want to hear from Dean Evason. It's all part of Wild Live.